Steven Mielhausen here, and I'm not representing SportingNews.com. I'm representing me, but I am a part of SportingNews.com, and UFC 196 taking place tonight from the MGM Grand Garden Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada. The main event, Conor McGregor against Nate Diaz in welterweight action, and Holly Holm defends her UFC women's bantamweight championship against Miesha Tate. I love this card. I think this card is awesome. I said in the video last week that I thought this was a big challenge for Conor McGregor, and you really look at like how this all came about. You look from the press conference, the bombastic press conference we saw last week in Torrance, California. Middle fingers and cuss words galore, and then you have what happened on Thursday. You had the scuffle at the press conference where Diaz put his face, and you got to give Nate Diaz a lot of credit. He put his fist up, made McGregor move it. McGregor got intimidated. McGregor didn't like that. He punched him. Should have been, and I mean, this is a shame on the UFC and the Nevada Athletic Commission. Should have been punished. What if he broke his wrist? That damages the fight. Then he can't fight. So, you're seeing that. You're seeing what happened yesterday at weigh-ins, where same thing happened. Diaz did a little flinch, and McGregor really jumped back. And I know a lot of people aren't making too much of it, but I think you have to make something of it, guys. You really do at the end of the day. Nate Diaz isn't intimidated by Conor McGregor. He had fights won before he ever got in the octagon. Dustin Poirier, Dennis Seaver, Chad Mendes, Jose Aldo. He had those guys beat by the time they got inside the octagon. You don't intimidate Nate Diaz. He doesn't get intimidated by nobody. It doesn't matter who it is. Yeah, Conor's gotten better at the trash talk. When it's came face-to-face time, I think there's something to that. And McGregor looks good. They both looked, I thought, really good at weigh-ins yesterday. But I think Diaz has got the edge in the mental warfare. I really do. But they have to fight. At the end of the day, they have to get inside the octagon. They have to fight. How will the fight go down? I think the reach, Diaz, the speed, McGregor, the power, and the power is the question. Nate's not known as a power puncher. He's a volume puncher. McGregor's known for his power. But going up 25 pounds, does that translate? Will they be effective? Well, he weighed 168. You figure he'll probably be about the low 170s. He's no more than 74. You look at Nate, I think Nate's going to be, about 180, high 170s, 180. So you look at this here, and this is a bigger fight than we understand, and a bigger fight than we realize. And the ramifications of this fight are huge. Nate gets it to the ground. How good is Conor McGregor's jiu-jitsu? How has he improved since the Chad Mendes fight? We didn't get to see it at all against Aldo in December. At the end of the day, if Nate Diaz gets this fight to the ground, how is Conor McGregor going to get up? How has Conor McGregor improved since July? How has he improved in 7.5 months? That is going to be almost 8 months. Actually, I take that back. That's the $1 million question, and no one's bringing that up. Nate's jiu-jitsu is on another level. Black belt under Cesar Gracie. The Gracie family. You gotta remember, his jiu-jitsu is no joke. While he's a volume puncher, if he can just keep throwing, if he's going to stand on the feet, he has to be constantly throwing. He's got the reach advantage. It's only 2 inches, but that 2 inches will make a difference. If the fight goes to the ground, Nate Diaz all day. Stand up, I don't know. It's just about the power. Can it translate 25 pounds? Can it translate 2 weight classes? McGregor doesn't seem really too worried, but when you look at what happened the last 2 days, I think there's be a cause for concern if you're a Conor McGregor fan. I'm going with the upset. I'm going Nate Diaz. Yes, Nate Diaz. Bye. It's going to be a unanimous decision. I think if he doesn't, it's either going to be 3rd round submission, or the fight will go into a unanimous decision. We hate when seeing McGregor go 5 rounds. Diaz boys are known for their cardio. But I'm going with Nate Diaz in an upset to defeat Conor McGregor. And then the co-main event. Holly Holm, as people call her, and I called her in my Sporting News article, the Ronda Rousey Destroyer, as she faces off against Rousey rival Miesha Tate in the co-main event. And this fight really hasn't gotten a lot of attention. It really hasn't, guys, if we really sit and we look at this. I think it's due to Conor and Nate, and even before when it was Conor and RDA. But this is a great fight as well. But, and, you know, as I was telling Yahoo Sports Radio in an interview I did with them earlier, the only way Miesha Tate wins if Miesha Tate can get to the inside. She cannot get in a striking battle with Holly Holm. You cannot strike with a former boxing world champion and a kickboxing savant. You can't do that. It's not going to work. She doesn't have the power to knock down. She says she has the power. Holm's got a soft chin, but you have to reach the chin. I don't think his Miesha's striking got better. Absolutely. Is it good enough against Holly Holm? Absolutely not. And what we've seen of Holly Holm's takedown defense, it's really good. She hasn't been taken down. If a takedown does occur, Miesha has a better chance of winning. But I just don't see how Miesha Tate can beat Holly Holm. And I think Holly Holm will stop Miesha Tate in the third round via head kick KO to retain the UFC Women's Bantamweight Championship. The other couple of fights I like on the card. Who doesn't love Diego Sanchez, Jim Miller? That's headlining Fight Pass. Yes, it's headlining Fight Pass. I just think that's so cool that this is headlining Fight Pass, and I'm excited, you know, because this could, you know, Diego Sanchez is the last of the Mohicans, per se, and we don't know what's going to happen with Diego here. If he beats Jim Miller, he lives on for another day. If he loses to Jim Miller, then I think it's time for Diego to hang up the gloves and I think call it a career. And you can't deny the heart and the warrior spirit of Diego Sanchez. Very smart of the UFC to put this fight headlining spot on Fight Pass. Give it some high-profile fights. Give people a reason to watch your subscription service. I like Jim Miller in this fight. I just don't see how Diego Sanchez beats Jim Miller. Maybe he has another run in him that we don't know about from what I've seen lately from Diego Sanchez. I don't think it's going to be enough. I'm going with Jim Miller by unanimous decision. And a couple other fights I like. The headlining fight on the Fox Sports 1 prelims. Sahir Bahasarado returns after almost a 2.5-year layoff against Brandon Thatch. It's a big fight for Brandon Thatch. You look at where Brandon Thatch was 13 months ago, headlining a hot, young, fresh prospect at welterweight, and taking a little bit of a tumble. You know, we're not talking about Brandon Thatch no more as one of the young studs at 170 pounds. This is a fight where Brandon Thatch could make a really great case and get himself back on the map. It's going to be a big card. A lot of people are going to be watching. Then the Amanda Nunes Valentina Shevchenko fight. I love that fight. You got two top 10 women's bantamweights. If Ronda Rousey doesn't return, and I'm still very skeptical if she will return, this is a great fight for her. I really do. Because if you look at this fight, the winner has a great case. They're both knockout artists. I like what I'm seeing from Amanda Nunes. Number 4 against number 10. Watch out for that fight was on. And Corey Anderson and Tom Lawler. And Tom Lawler has a lot to prove. He feels he has this chip on his shoulder. For some inexplicable reason, not on the EA Sports UFC 2 game. Which is a complete disservice. And then when they're doing the embedded and he's on the media tour at Miesha Tate, how hard is it to put a character generator that says Tom Lawler, UFC light heavyweight? How hard is that to do? So Tom Lawler has got a chip on his shoulder, a big point to prove. Corey Anderson, coming off the Ultimate Fighter winner. I like Tom Lawler here. It just seems like he's very motivated. Knocked out Jan Viante in July at UFC on Fox. How Tom Lawler's not ranked, I don't know, and I don't know why this fight is not number 3 instead of Viante and Yair Latifi, the man known as Yair Latifi. But I think that's a disservice. I like Tom Lawler in that fight, but I always like doing a little pay-per-view buys, and this pay-per-view's trending really well just from numbers I've been able to gather and see, and I'm going with 1.1 million pay-per-view buys. Could it do more? Yes. Will it? It could. It's not going to break the record. Let's just stop that there. But I could see 1-2, 1-3. This is a bigger fight than even fighting if he was going to fight RDA. But at the end of the day, that I think 1-2, about 1-1, 1-2, 1-2-5 will be a good number. You can find me on Twitter at SMuehlhausen MMA, SMuehlhausen HLHAUSENMMA. You can check out my articles I put up on Sporting News earlier today. Conor McGregor, the first UFC fighter to make it disclosed $1 million for his fight tonight against Nate Diaz, and my 5 reasons to watch UFC 196, and it's not just the Conor McGregor show. But you can check out my articles there. I will be writing, blogging all night long on sportingnews.com, so definitely check out my work all night long tonight. And this is Stephen Mielhausen, and I will see you at the fights.